This is the Game Maker's Toolkit 2026 Game Jam, an annual 4-day game-making marathon and the largest event of its kind. And this is me. Hi! Over the next 4 days, I'll be challenging myself to make a game, from start to finish, that fits this jam's theme. Quite the challenge, you may think, but in fact, yeah, it is. Hi there, my name is Skit and I like making games. I was quite looking forward to this game jam because it's itch.io's biggest jam every year, without fail, so much so that I had made sure I booked time off work so that I could actually just lock the fuck in, but God decided this was too much power for one man to have, and struck me down with sickness right before the jam started. I got nerfed. Still, I wasn't going to let that stop me. I was still up at 5 in the morning, ready to start braining up a storm the moment that theme revealed itself. What is it? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5... Ooh, countdown. 9. That was a supermarket here. Day 1 of the jam begins, and it's all planning and prototyping, trying to find something that I like that I could follow through until the end of the jam. But also, I want to be careful with this because I feel like a lot of people are going to be doing this timer one because it's the obvious one. It's the one that's like, oh, that's the first thing that comes to your mind. A literal countdown. My first idea for this countdown theme was trying to make an incremental game that went backwards. Thing is, I had never played an incremental game before, much less made one. But I did have Nubby's Number Factory in my Steam library, and that is an incremental game, so I decided to do a quick side project for research. Okay, yeah, number go up. So we basically gotta do something like this, but number go down, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be careful I don't spend my entire time doing this. This is stupid, but I'm seeing the appeal. Think I was successful. Having some amount of direction, I came up with a plan. You'd be firing burgers at customers, trying to feed them until their hunger meter got low enough. And you could then get discounts on the burgers so you earn less money and wait a minute, this idea sucks. This is bad. Okay, scrap that prototype, I got another idea. Speedrunning game. You gotta get between gates quickly so that the time doesn't run out, and you're gonna do it with a sticky hand that you sling yourself around with. I actually like this idea a lot, and it was fun to mess around with in this little testing area I made, but I quickly figured something out about making a 3D game. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. This shit is hard. I can't do this in 4 days. Okay, this is a cool idea, but I am shelving it for now because I need to make something much quicker. I ended up revisiting the incremental idea again, but this time I'm gonna make it less bad. I have an idea, okay? What if we just count down from 0, like into the negatives? That counts, right? I decided the player should have a goal to reach, and once you reach that goal, you'd have a new goal set for you, and you go again. How did you get less points, you ask? You fire a ball at pins and just watched it. The ball itself was just a simple rigid body 2D that had mostly default settings, and you just launched it and watched it do its thing. I ended up adding these bumpers to the side that would bounce the ball again, but that kind of felt more like a temporary solution to having literally zero input into what happens past firing the ball. Okay, maybe I'll try another game idea, actually.
It's the end of the first day. I hope you've all got something that you're happy with.
Yeah, I'll make this work. Day 2 arrives, and honestly, I'm a bit unsure about the project at this point. So, I made myself a deal. I'd stick to this project for a little while longer, see if it had any promising leads come up, and if it didn't, I'd go back to the drawing board. It was only day 2, so if need be, I could start something a bit late and make it work. Now, the first order of business was giving the player a bit more input, and that's where these paddles come in. Control them with A and D, or the left and right arrow keys, and they do pretty much what it looks like they do. Despite the simplicity of these mechanics, it added quite a lot to the game, and makes you feel way more in control. Very good step in the right direction. Next task on the agenda is trying to make the game not look like this. This is functional, but it doesn't look very pretty, and it's just a whole lot of placeholder art. My first initial thought was that I had no idea what I was doing. I gotta be honest, I kind of went for a techie sort of looking thing, but it ended up looking more like a tacky sort of looking thing. I ended up looking up pinball machines on DuckDuckGo Images to try and find some inspiration, and this one right here really stuck out to me. It looked like it was themed after like a card game or something, and this gave me an idea. I ended up trying to make the visual style of the game look almost like something you'd see at a casino or really fancy bar. Gold linings, red carpets, things that feel a little more expensive than you can afford. I also ended up using this 6-point star shape a lot, mostly because it was super easy to draw in Fire Alpaca using the symmetry tool, but because it also felt on brand with everything else, so that worked out quite well. I also went searching for sounds from pinball machines and had some good success, so the visuals and audio now feel much more not placeholdery. Alright, this is where the game is starting to get interesting. Now, we're introducing new types of pins and balls to be unlocked as you play the game. The first thing I did was add these small pins, which are just much smaller pins. They would give you double the points you'd get from a normal size pin, which is very cool, and also served as a good visual indicator that yes, having multiple pins is working. I didn't fuck it up. Next was the balls. I saw that rigid bodies have a gravity amplifier variable, so I made one that was just set to half gravity. And I made the sprite blue. This would eventually become the moon ball, but really just served as a quick way of making sure that there are actually multiple balls in rotation here. I decided this would be a good time to give the ball some actual graphics. I really did try to make the moon ball look accurate to the moon, but I don't know how well I did. I'd like to think I wasn't too far off, but you guys let me know. Of course, now what's missing is that you don't really have a way of getting your grubby little hands on these items, so it's time to make a shop. This UI would pick 3 random shop items and then drop down and present them to you. And if you have the funds for it, you can buy it. The items themselves had all their information stored in a custom resource that I created. This had all the information on the item's type, that being whether it's a pin or a ball, its name, its description, its cost, and other such data. Oh, and speaking of money in shops, you now actually get money. I also animated this coin right here, but it went unused for a fair while before actually being implemented. I wrapped up day 2 with 2 more things. First thing I did was add an up next panel to the UI, letting you know what ball was next in the queue, so you could possibly strategize and make preparations. This was, at this point in time, completely useless because the board would clear once the ball had fallen through, meaning nothing would actually carry over between shots. The final thing I did for the day was a small tweak, but a much needed one. Rather than having a goal to get to your negative number to, I decided to just hide the goal completely and instead make the goal always be 0. Every round the starting number would increase and it would be your job to bring it back. Hit my mic. And it would be your job to bring it back down. This felt a lot more in line with the countdown theme that the Game Jam had, because before it was just kind of counting up, but there's a minus sign stuck next to the number. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. I ended up doing more with this at the end of day 3, but that's something we'll get to when we talk about day 3. Speaking of day 3, alright, I'll be honest, by this point my sickness was really kicking my ass, and I had used a lot of my game dev juice the previous day, so I didn't do nearly as much with this third day. That being said, there were still some pretty significant changes, starting with the aforementioned more I did with that UI tweak from earlier. Now you're not just trying to get to 0. If you count down, see, that's the theme of the game, I said the theme. Even further past 0, you'll get rewarded with even more money. Hell yeah, we love money. Oh yeah, and that coin sprite is finally being used. I spent this day working on the UI a lot. The main menu was brought into existence, and many small changes were made to the main UI of the game. I ended up using Godot's theme resource to help get all the UI set up. Super powerful tool. You basically just tell it what you generally want a button or a text label to look like, throw it on the topmost node in a menu, and bam! The whole menu looks exactly how you want it to. Some of you might have picked up on it, but you'll also see here I'm making use of the new Godot UI offset properties. I'm honestly surprised they didn't add this sooner. It's really useful. Godot's UI system is brilliant. It was also at this point that I needed a title for the game that I could put on the main menu, and honestly I wasn't sure what to call my game. It was kind of like Pinball, but not really Pinball. I don't know. I'm just going to use this as a placeholder for now. I'll change it later. He did not, in fact. change it later. While I didn't get much done with the game systems themselves, I did end up adding a fair bit of stock to the shop. We got the Lucky Ball, which has a small chance to give you double points on your next hit or give you an extra $1. The Marble Ball, which gives you 50% more points than a normal ball but is really small, and the Star Ball, which just goes super fucking fast. In terms of pins, there's the Midas pin, named after the Midas touch, which I'm sure you all know what that is. This pin gives you 2 gold if you hit it instead of just 1, and there's also the windmill pin, which I squeezed in just before going to bed. This pin is actually 4 pins. Each sail on the windmill can be destroyed for some extra points, and this ended up being a really good pin for racking up combos. It's more pin per pin. The most significant addition to the game on day 3 though was the combo meter. This is something that a friend suggested I add while showing him the game so far, and honestly it adds so much to the game. You know what a combo meter is, but in case you don't, the combo meter ups your score multiplier the more pins you hit in a short space of time. I also made the text animate and change colors depending on how high your combo gets. It looks really good. By this point, I'm really happy I stuck with my idea, and I'm ready to see it right through. Priority number 1 was the music. Currently, the game sounds like this. We gotta change that. I wanted to go for something kinda swingy, kinda jazzy. I also wanted the music to be layered so the better you performed, the more energetic and full the music sounded. What I ended up with was this, and honestly I'm super happy with how it turned out for such a quick job. The full version is available on the channel. I uploaded it a little bit ago, so if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can. Now, some of you very keen-eyed folks will have picked up that I slowed down the video showing this music track in the background, because the player head is moving through the bars much slower than the music is playing. And some of you more observant people will have noticed that the BPM of this project, 103, doesn't seem quite right. Well, you're all wrong! Mike, turn on the metronome! Yeah, I don't know how I pulled that off. Just go with it. Once being added to the project, I decided to go ahead with that layer splitting thing. There's the bass and drums, which play at all times, the pianos that come into play once a ball has been launched, and once your combo gets to a certain number, the brass band comes in and oh man, does it make you feel good. I also spent this time adding in the ability to full clear the board. This was always technically, theoretically possible, but I decided if you're gonna go through all that effort, the least the game could do is actually acknowledge it and give you some coins for it. In retrospect, points would have been better, but pretty much nobody picked up on this even being here, so it's probably fine. Finally, I decided to add one more unlockable thing to the game. Every few levels, you'll be presented with 2 perks, and you get to pick one of them to keep permanently for free. These just give you points when certain conditions are met, with the exception of the whiskey shot, which gives you an extra shot before the board clears. Oh yeah, the board doesn't clear immediately anymore, that's also something I did. All the perks were themed as things you could imagine finding while you're at a casino, and all relate to the actual perk they give you in some way. The whiskey shot gives you another shot because it's a shot. The cigarette and lighter give you points for fire-related damage. The loose change gives you points for coins that you earn. The poker chip awarded you for your combo because there's 3 of them, and the playing card gives you a small 2-point bonus upon hitting any pin because there's 2 A's in the card. I can't bullshit my way out of that one. Along with this, I added a quick bit of UI telling the player how to aim and fire the cannon, and also added some more pins and balls into the mix. We got the landmine pin, which explodes whenever it's destroyed. And that's it for pins. The bomb ball, which exploded every few seconds, the magma ball, which sets pins on fire, and the viral ball. This one is easily my favorite. Every time it hits a pin, it has a small chance to infect it, and whenever an infected pin is destroyed, it drops another viral ball. I'm also realizing I never mentioned the wrecking ball. That was the 3rd ball that I added, but I guess I'll bring it up now. It does double damage and it's really heavy. that's it, that's all. With the last little bit of time I had left before the jam concluded, I decided to make a few small changes to the game. First, I tweaked a lot of the values around. Shop items were made cheaper, coins were made easier to get, and you'd get a lot more of them. The shop would give you 4 options to choose from instead of 3, and perks would give you 3 options to choose from instead of 2. On top of that, I added this UI pane to the game that told the player once they reached level 5 to go and play some other Game Jam submissions. Because this game doesn't have a definitive ending or a lose condition, people could just play this game for hours on end, and I know that's true because a friend of mine tried reaching into the overflow. And the reason that I decided to completely throw off the balance of the game and put up this pane telling people to stop playing was because this is a Game Jam submission. And it's not just any Game Jam submission either. This is going into the biggest Game Jam on itch. So I wanted players to see as much of what this game had to offer in a short space of time. Most playthroughs you can get all the items relatively quickly, and that's terrible game balancing, but that's the point. That's my plan. My goal is for players to see just about everything they can, and then move on to something else so this game doesn't overstay its welcome. And with that, the game was complete. And with that, the submission period was over. Voting time! GMTK, to nobody's surprise, made itch lag out for a lot of people, but that's bound to happen when you have 10,000 games to upload. The GMTK Game Jam 2026 had once again broken itch.io's record for the most submissions to a single game jam, joining the leagues of GMTK Game Jam 2025, GMTK Game Jam 2024, GMTK Game Jam. Over the next week I played about 50 odd games, which is way too many to talk about here, but I'm gonna point out some of my favorites that I played. Perishable, incredible name by the way, it's this really cool battle system kind of game where you set up moves to try and combat enemies that also have set up moves. It's impressive enough that there's a battle system here to begin with that's this unique, but what really makes this one stand out to me is that killing the enemies is only one way to defeat them. If attacking isn't working in a particular battle for you, you can choose to play a bit more defensively and try to outlast your enemies. That's really fucking cool. Also, there's cats in a super cute pixel art format. Who wouldn't love that? Another game I really enjoyed was Alcatraz. You clean up a prison island of its trash. Yeah, it sounds pretty simple and a little boring in concept, but the execution makes it really fun and satisfying. Plus, you come armed with your trusty cassette player, which you can unlock songs for while you're playing the game. So while you move your rusty cans towards the trash crusher, you can bop your head along to your favorite bands like Stink 182. This is actually a banger, I'm not even lying. Hickory is a full-ass game! The art is absolutely gorgeous, the gameplay is very simple, easy to pick up, but very engaging. The narrative had me hooked. I want to learn more about this world, but the highlight is absolutely the soundtrack. Guys, it was a 4-day game jam. You did not need to put Beethoven to shame. I'm very glad you did though. Anyways, go check it out. This is but a very short list of the games that I enjoyed playing this jam, and a lot of games in this jam were people's first. So to all 10,000 of you who made something, congratulations. You made a game. That's incredible. So even if you ranked dead last in every category, you should be proud of what you accomplished. But enough about other people. Time to glaze myself more. What did people think of Pinball if it was awesome? Well, people were really enjoying it. I had several people say they saw potential for an expansion. People saying they were glad I told them to stop playing, otherwise they've been playing for too long. I got called, and I quote, chef, because I was, and I quote, cooking. Bro, I did good? Needless to say, I was and largely still am overwhelmed by the incredibly positive response. Plenty of people gave super useful feedback too, pointing out some places where there's room for improvement. With such a positive response, I felt I actually had a pretty decent chance at placing in the top 2,000 games, the top 20%, for at least one of the categories. But I was still staying cautiously optimistic because there were so many games that I played that I felt deserved a spot way above mine. Even still, when the results came out, I was hoping just a little bit that it performed well. So, did it? I'm gonna go over the rankings I got here. The worst ranking I got was narrative at 7,058. That feels a little bit high for a game with no narrative? Yeah, I wasn't really surprised by this one at all. This ranking makes perfect sense. Next is artwork at a much higher 2,522. That's pretty decent. I'm happy with that. The art was never anything to write home about, and I knew that. A lot of it was pretty rushed, and I'm okay with it having been done that way. Honestly, with how many beautiful games I saw, this actually still surprised me a bit, but I'll happily take it. Next after that was creativity at 2,305. Again, I kind of expected this one to be much lower because I didn't feel I was being that creative, especially with how I implemented the theme, but again, I will not complain with that ranking at all. Very happy with that. Audio, I got 1,790, and I think this is largely the fault of the music. I'm very glad I went for making a dynamic track that added on to the sound as you played. It really adds a lot to the game just having that audio cue of, whoa! You're doing so good! The pinball machine sound effects were also doing some serious heavy lifting here for sure. This ranking felt really good to me. I was very happy with it, and I did rank in something that was in the top 2,000. This was great. I was ecstatic. And lastly, there was enjoyment. Now, this is the one where I felt my game excelled the most. I was thinking, surely this one would be top 2,000, maybe even top 1,500 if I was really lucky. So imagine my shock when I opened up the results for the first time and saw that I ranked as 163rd. What? Top 200 in a 10,000 submission game jam? I'm still so shocked, dude. That's so much better than I ever thought it would be. I think it'd be stupid to not expand on this game more at this point. Like, seriously, I've got to do that now. After the voting had ended and everyone had gone home and packed up, I decided to release a patch that just quickly fixed the balancing issues that appeared when I made the game super easy on purpose and added some accessibility features to the game as per some commenters' request. So if you'd like to go check out the game, you can follow the link in the description to its itch page. There's a web version of the game available so anyone with a working computer can play it. Thank you to Mark Brown and the entire team behind this incredible game jam. This was the most fun I'd had programming in a long time, which is saying something because again, I was really sick this whole time. It fucking sucked, dude. And again, congratulations to everyone who submitted, no matter where you ranked. So what's the takeaway from this video? Just give it a go. Make that thingy, join that game jam, even if you think your idea is kinda not good, prototype it and see it might not be that bad actually after all, but be critical because sometimes the ideas involve burgers and discount codes.